Hey there, it's been a while since I did one of my signature book and audio read-along reviews, but I got a great idea for one. Look at this. Yep, Richard Scarry's adaptations of The 3 Million Goats Gruff and The Wolf and the Kids from 1953, adapted into a little golden book and record in the 1960s. Now, if something sounds familiar to you, to start off, this predates when Richard Scarry adapted both those stories into his Animal Nursery Tales book in 1975. And you probably already know the Wolf and the Kids story when this was adapted into a Golden Picturation story. In the 1986 Golden Book video, Richard Scarry's Old MacDonald's Farm and other animal tales. But there are still some similarities, including, of course, the way the wolf and the 7 kids look. Even if this was back when Richard Scarry's artwork was more, they generally had a lusher, painting-like appearance. Also, these Golden Book and audio read-alongs were a little different. Distributed by AA Records, the Golden Read-along records from the late 1940s to the early 1970s were a little simpler compared to, say, the Capitol Record readers, or the later Peter Pan Records read-alongs and the later Disney ones. They had a narrator, sometimes a celebrity at the time, read the entire story from the book with some kind of background music. And the page turn cue was generally just the narrator saying, "Turn the page," out loud. A little later into the 1960s, AA Records also began distributing read-along adaptations of the Wonder Books. And this is ironic, since they were a little competitor to the little Golden Books. They utilized the same narrators and music composers as the Golden Records did. Then when AA Records lost the Golden license from Western Publishing in the mid-1970s, the older Golden read-along titles like this went out of print, and the labels renamed Wonderland Records, and continued to distribute the Wonder Book read-alongs on both record and cassette until they were rebranded as Kid Stuff Records and Tapes. But enough record company history. Let me put this 45 on and we can listen to the first story in this book. Yeah, this is kind of a later press thing from the waning years of the Golden Records with that yellow label. Let's see. Here we go, part 1. Some nice music. There.
Hi there, boys and girls. My name is Tom Chipola, and I'm going to read you 2 stories. The first one is called 3 Billy Goats Gruff. The second one is called The Wolf and the Kids. Now open your book. The words say 3 Billy Goats Gruff and The Wolf and the Kids. Pictures by Richard Scarry, Golden Press, New York. When you hear this sound, you turn the page.
He just snapped his fingers.
Ready? Turn the page. Let's begin to read the story together. Here we go. The 3 Billy Goats Gruff. Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats named Gruff, who lived together on a mountainside. On their mountainside there was little to eat, but just across the way was a beautiful pasture of green grass. On the way to this pasture, they had to pass over a bridge, and under the bridge lived a big, bad troll. Turn the page. One day, trip-trap, the youngest billy goat Gruff started to cross the bridge. Who trips over my bridge? Roared the troll. Only littlest billy goat Gruff.
Some troll. He looks like a grumpy old elf or something.
Aha! I'm going to come up and eat you, said the troll. Oh, don't eat me, cried the littlest billy goat Gruff. My brother is coming after me, and he is much bigger than I. So the troll grumbled and rumbled, but he let the littlest billy goat Gruff cross the bridge. Turn the page.
Yeah, he just snaps his fingers and says, turn the page.
The second billy goat Gruff started across the bridge. Who trips over my bridge? Roared the troll. Only the middle-sized billy goat Gruff, said the second goat in his middle-sized voice. Aha! I'm going to come up and eat you, said the troll. Oh, don't eat me, cried the middle-sized billy goat Gruff. My brother is coming after me, and he is much bigger than I. So the troll rumbled and rumbled, but he let the middle-sized billy goat Gruff cross the bridge. Turn the page. Soon, trip-trap, 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 the biggest billy goat Gruff started across the bridge. Who tramps over my bridge? Roared the troll. It is I, great big billy goat Gruff.
That voice doesn't seem to fit with that design.
Great big voice. Aha! I am going to come up and eat you, said the troll. Come along, then, cried the great big billy goat Gruff. So up came the old troll, but the great big billy goat Gruff put down his head and bounded forward and hurled that troll right off the bridge, and he never was seen again. Then the great big billy goat Gruff joined his
Classic headbutt.
pasture, and the grass was so delicious that all three goats grew round and plump before they walked home again. Turn the page. Now, let's turn the record over, and we will continue with the story. Don't forget to turn the page.
But you just said turn the page. And I just did. But like they say about the Three Billy Goats Gruff story, snip, snap, snout, this tale's told out. A lot of the text is some of the same illustration principles were reused in the 1975 Richard Scarry's Animal Nursery Tales version, such as the goat's designs and fashions. But the troll was completely redesigned to not look human. Pretty unusual, huh? He looks like some kind of space alien. And instead of grass, the Billy Goats Gruff prefer to eat berries, since they're more anthropomorphic in the usual Richard Scarry fashion. But even so, it's still a very similar adaptation, especially since Golden Books also published this. And the next story, The Wolf and the Kids, also shares several similarities with the Animal Nursery Tales version you may remember from that Golden Book video. So I will now turn the record over like the narrator wanted me to.
Here we are on the second side of the record. Did you remember to turn the page? Good. The Wolf and the Kids. Once upon a time, a mother goat and her 7 little kids lived in a cozy hut near a deep forest. And in the very darkest part of that same forest lived a wicked wolf. One day, the mother goat left to search for food. She warned her 7 kids, "Do not let anyone in, for it might be the wicked wolf." The 7 kids promised not to open the door even a little bit, and the mother goat ran off. Turn the page. Scarcely had the mother goat...
Look at his outfit there. It's kind of similar.
A rat
And he's got a knife, too.
little hut's door. Open the door, my dear children, called a
Look at that little raccoon in the background. Is he a hunter or a detective or something?
But the 7 kids heard how rough the voice was. You are not our mother, they cried. Our mother's voice is soft and sweet, and yours is loud and rough. You are the wicked wolf. Go away. The wolf padded home angrily and gulped a great pot of honey.
This version of Walt uses honey to try and sweeten his voice. I've seen other takes of the story of a salt powdered sugar or sweet well water, or even powdered chalk. Yuck!
The rascal called in his new sweet voice. It is your mother. Something for each of you. Turn the page.
Not a bad impression.
7 kids heard how sweetly he spoke and had almost turned the key when they saw his black wolf's paw lying against the window pane. You are not our mother, they cried. Our mother's paw is white and yours is black.
Of course, I wear white suit gloves.
Go away. So the wicked wolf went to a...
Another human and Richard
Cover
Scarry.
my paws with white flour, or I will eat you up.
Whoa.
The trembling baker did as he was told, and the wolf ran back so fast that his ears whistled in the wind, and rat-tap-tapped on the door for the 3rd time. Open the door, my dear children, he called sweetly, laying his white paw against the window pane. It is your mother, and she has brought something for each of you. The 7 kids heard the sweet voice and saw the nice white paw. It's mother, they said,
Really, they're pretty gullible to notice, even with the 4.
and they hurried to throw open
The wolf's paws don't look very much like their mother's hooves, even with the flour.
Wolf. Turn the page. In a flash, the 7...
If I were trying to trick them, I'd probably wear goat hoof gloves, or maybe even a full-body mother goat disguise.
In the stove. The 4th ran into the kitchen. The 5th squeezed into the cupboard. The 6th crawled under the washtub. And the 7th and youngest jumped into the big old grandfather clock. Turned the page. But the wolf found them soon enough. One after another, he gulped them down.
Ooh.
The only one he did not find was the youngest, who had hidden in the grandfather clock. After he had eaten the little kids, the wolf waddled out into the woods and lay down to sleep. When the mother goat came home, the door was swinging wide open, and the room was topsy-turvy.
Look at the mother goat's expression there.
No answer. At last, she called her youngest child, and a little voice cried, Here I am, in the clock. Out of the grandfather clock bounded the youngest kid, and he told his mother how the wolf had tricked them all. Turn the page. The mother goat set out to find the wolf, and soon she came upon him, snoring beneath a shady tree. Something she saw was still moving inside him. Very quietly, the mother goat ran home and brought back her sewing basket. She took her scissors and snip, snip. She cut a big slit in the wicked old wolf.
Ooh.
1, 2...
How did that not wake him up? That must hurt.
Out bounded the little kids, good as new. Turn the page. Now, each of you bring a big stone from the riverbank, said the mother goat. So the little kids dragged up 6 heavy stones, and the mother goat filled the wolf's empty stomach with them, and neatly sewed it shut.
Again, how did that not wake him up?
After a while, the wicked wolf woke up. Feeling very thirsty from the stones inside him, he went down to the river to take a drink. But the stones were so heavy that when he leaned over to drink, he fell kersplash into the water. And that was the end of it.
Poor Wolfie.
The mother goat hurried her 7 little kids home and bolted and barred the house. And you may be sure they never opened the door to anyone again. Not even a little bit.
I guess they never even had any visitors or anything like that afterward. They really straightened their security. And there you have it, a read-along book and audio adaptation of The Three Billy Goats Gruff and the Wolf and the Kids. It's told by Richard Scarry. You probably notice how similar it is to the 1975 Animal Nursery Tales version, occasionally being word for word. But that version, it omitted the wolf trying to sweeten up his voice, with the kids noticing his black furry paw the very first time he tries tricking them. Not like my white 2D gloves. Also, the baker was changed to a pig to keep with the anthropomorphic theme of Richard Scarry's books. And instead of swallowing the kids whole, he just stuffs those 6 of them in a big sack to try and make it less intense than little kids. Plus, I do have to say, it does make more sense to cut a sack open like that compared to the wolf's stomach. And then at the end, upon seeing the stones in his sack, great jump take there. Oh, it says he was very angry and disappointed and very, very hungry. So he packed his things, went home to his mother for supper, and never came back again. I definitely approve of that ending. But the Goldman video adaptation changed it to be more true to the original story. But that is for a future video you should be seeing here very soon, along with whatever else I do next.